If you want to price $25,000 to $60,000 commercial 3D virtual tour projects, you're going to want to watch this video. I'm sharing with you a live recording where I take a community member project, walk him through step by step how to price and how to win a large commercial and repeatable customer for his local area that he's currently prospecting, and what to consider when pricing. The most important thing you can do is understand your cost, understand customers' budget, and make sure you have a high quality margin in the amount of time that will be allocated to your virtual tour project. That's how you win 25K projects without losing your shirt. And of course, if you want to move fast, at the end of this video, I highly recommend checking out our virtual tour pricing calculator. To get started, it's very simple. You can watch this video, see who it's built for, why you built it, and how to use it, and a quick preview of how it works. You can get started today, checking out some of our testimonials, and of course, just pressing the big yellow button that says yes, get started. Add your information, complete the order process, and we'll see you on the other side. All right, let's get to the video.
You can meet the 24. You just can. You know what I mean? It's just the reality, because who cares?
Right.
But if they have a budget of 50K and you quote 25, you missed out on an additional 25K. It's just period. You just did,
Yeah.
So you won't know that. And this is why I like to quote in tiers, because then you can kind of feel out that highest tier is like, I don't think they're going to pay this much. That's how that should feel. It should feel like it's too much. But you got the other two tiers as well too, with different scope amounts and maybe different features, etc. Some people may see it and love it so much, we're like, how much? I got infinite budget for this. And it's totally possible.
Yeah, and I'm thinking that seeing that they've got these different seasons, once I do the main shot, I can just go in and change whatever the season change is at each of the locations. So
let's do this. Let's price it out together. I'm going to show you my screen real quick. Hold on one second. Okay, some of y'all have already seen this. I'm going to play around with it though.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to make a copy. Hey, Tony, I'm going to mute you. I'm sorry. There we go. Every once in a while I wonder what people like know that we can all hear them. Okay, so yeah, so this is the pricing calculator that we use, and I've shared it recently.
yeah, you did. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so it's got equipment, labor, and then margin. Okay, so we're gonna kind of live on the call, just price out a project, and we're gonna pretend like I'm okay. I don't take everything I say as like this is what you should do. Do whatever you want, Bill. Okay, it's your business. Okay,
Right.
It's your conversion. You're gonna feel it out in person. You're gonna poke at all those questions and get a good feel for what the budget is. Don't let me manipulate you in any way right now in this moment. But here's what I would do. Okay, so after I've done that discovery, I'm probably going to book a scope call with them, a secondary call after I pitch it and show them and give them an example. We can go internally show it with, and I'm going to say, hey, let's do a sit down scope call together. And then, but I'm going to use this calculator beforehand so I know kind of what my ranges are and where I'm at. So for example, the Ricoh Theta Z1, literally that camera you can rent for a week or 3 days for $100. Okay. Let's just pretend like it's a 2-week rental. Okay. And that weekly rental, let's just say it's $250 a week. Okay. I'm gonna pretend like I'm huge, but I'm gonna budget like I'm poor. Okay. So I'm gonna have my team come out there and have 3 people come out and help me. Okay. All of them are gonna have a gas mileage budget of $200. Okay. So here I am already in $1,100 of just equipment, and there's other stuff you can put in equipment. Maybe you got drone rental, whatever. Add it here. Add whatever you want to add. Okay. I'm just pretending like I know a drone guy or whatever. And I'm actually added my drone stuff over here. But now we got labor, okay? So if I have 2 people, 3 people, how many hours is that? Well, it's probably 8 hours, right? So let's just say it's 24. Let's say 24 hours and I pay my team $18 an hour. Okay, let's just say that's what I pay them. All right. Now, I might possibly, instead of doing hourly is always better. But let's just have I get an outsourced team. If it's Zach Calhoun, I'm in Houston, Texas. I'm gonna outsource the whole project to Bill and his team. Okay. And I would expect, so I'm gonna pay $0 hourly, but I'm gonna expect to pay per pano. That's just the way the world works. He's gonna be doing a lot of panos. I'm gonna ask him to charge me per pano. We're talking about panos internally. This is kind of how I would do it. So it's Branson, Missouri. I mean, it's a massive project. Okay. I would
Yeah,
say I've been to Silver City. It's cool, right? You're no lower than 60 panos, maybe 80 panos. I don't know.
easily,
Easily,
very easy.
right? So let's just if it's easily 80 panos, we don't know if we're going to use them all, but right now we're budgeting, right? My EA each, I'm going to budget Bill or whoever in the world $20 per panel. That's kind of what I'm going to probably budget. If I think it's a little more expensive, I may put 25 per panel. I think my team, I'm going to probably be paying around that number. Do I want to pay less? Sure. But I also want to do a good job. So I don't want to mess that up. I've also want to include my editing costs because I'm going to ask them to shoot in RAW. Shoot RAW, send me the RAW files. Do not shoot in JPEG. Don't waste your time or mine. That's a waste of everyone's time. So when they send me over those photos, I'm going to budget $5 per photo for editing. So whatever that number is going to output a number. So it's $400 for editing, right? Got my guy in Vietnam. I'm going to send him back looking perfect. It will be literally amazing. Now, tour building, my internal team, this is what we do. So I'm talking about if I'm in Houston doing this project, Silver City, this is like a kind of different scenario. I'm just showing what I'm kind of how I would price it. Okay.
Right.
I think it will take 2 to 3 days to build a project that big. And it's a really cool, I mean, there's a lot of cool things to feature and highlight and make sure we capture and make sure it's really good. So I'm going to give my team, my VA, probably 24, maybe 24 hours to like maybe of work time, $5 an hour. That's outputs $120, right? Now I know Silver RC would probably require some custom development from I would promise that in the scope call, or maybe in the first call, hey, I can customize this, I can do that. What are your needs? So I'm going to budget like 4 hours of custom development for $100. Now, let's just say hypothetically, I'm also outsourcing drone to a separate team. Okay. I'm going to budget a one-time fee. Maybe it's 10 photos of $2,000 for drone add-on. Okay. Now, do I think I could probably find someone to do it cheaper? Sure. Maybe 1,000, maybe, I don't know. Of course I could, but I'm budgeting right now. Okay. So I'm just trying to figure out what it costs. I don't know. So here's
Well,
my,
I probably wouldn't do it for less than 2,000. That's for sure.
well, there you go, Bill. Right. So even build a 6 shots, 6 photos. He has to go out there. He's spending gas money. I know Silver RC is a drive. It's a park. You got to go out there. You got to make sure everything looks good. You probably around that, and I think that would be fair. If I said, Bill, I need six photos at this location, and it's kind of close to you, you'd be like, okay, cool. I'm down for that price. And I could get less, and I might price it out. I might say, hey, 3 drone guys nearby. Can y'all price this project? I get 6 panos. Here's the map. They're going to know the area. And at this point, I wouldn't share the area until I had the contract signed. But then once I do, that's what I would say, hey, here's the location. Like, literally is what it is. So $2,000 is a good budget. Anyways, I'm just throwing out, so here's my total cost. So what this does is it allows me to see what my hidden costs are too, like gas money's in here, weekly rental of the Z1 camera in this case would be in here. I know I can get this project done remotely at 6K. Okay. So now I have this number. It's going to be pulled down to the bottom left over here. And this is where it kind of gets fun. Now we get to kind of play around with, okay, how much do I want to make? I'm not a big fan of, personally, I mentioned this before in my training and stuff before. I'm not a big fan of margin marks on virtual tour projects like this. Margin marks are when you just apply margin to a cost. You do have to do that sometimes when you're bidding against 2 other bidders and you are. You have to sometimes just like pick a margin you're happy with. And so if you put 1.6 on a project, you're making $6,600, maybe you bid 9K for it or 9.5K. But the reality is that you're bidding at somebody else. So if they can do it for cheaper, you might lower your margins some so you can get the project. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. But we don't, but you're bidding. So this is where bidding environment matters. Like what's Bill's bidding environment? He'll have to figure that out, have to really know that and hopefully build a great relationship. So they tell him at the end of the day, hey, listen, if you're at 9K, you can give you a project, but if you're at 9.5, we can't. That would be great if they told him that, but that's called bid shopping. They're not supposed to do that ethically, but like oftentimes if someone, likes you, they'll give you some hints. There's a spider over here in my drink. It's terrible. Okay. Anyways, what I like to do personally, this is me. I like to price per pano for pricing. And I like to be over $100. Now, what I usually do when I close that quota range, at the end of the day, most of the time, folks are going to see the pricing. So that's what the price is. This is a service. We're running a service. It's a heavy service, right? But for the calculator, I punch in 80. And now I see 3 different pano marks, $100, 110, 120, 130. I can see very fast, okay, out of these like per pano cost numbers, okay, I can see over here to the right what my net revenue would be. So in this case, if I want to get a net revenue of $4,380, and if I'm okay with that as a remote person, I could charge 10K and be happy with it. But if I know their budget's 20 or 25, then I'm going to probably want to get up to that highest point that I can in that budget, 20, 25, et cetera. But if I don't know their budget and they are communicating to me that they are price sensitive, I would say, listen, guys, I can probably get this done for 12,500. The absolute lowest I will go would probably be 11, but I really want the project. So tell me where I need to be. Do you see what I'm saying? So this is how I would communicate it. And I would, so it's 2-3 weeks project. You better be making more than $4,000 for that 2-3 weeks. You know what I'm saying? And so I probably wouldn't bid that low. I probably would not bid 10K. I probably just wouldn't. I probably might be a little bit higher, but I need to justify that cost with technology and with features and with awesome customer service and all that. So then down here, it's last part of the calculators, you can just kind of play around with different tiers. So like if this tier 1 says 40 pano, 60 pano, 60 plus custom, that's a good example of like, in this case, it would say 80. So I can input this price, these prices that are up here. And now I have tiers so I can adjust the scope to meet their needs. So what this does is it tells me, okay, I'm probably going to be at like, 18,000, or I'll probably be, I'm honestly, this one I'm quoting 19.5. This is what I would quote personally. But, because I'm trying to, but I would try to see if I can get 25 and see if I can get to the 30 range. But, and then maybe 15's in the middle and 1,500, I'm sorry. I'm just kind of, these are just for my own notes and for my sales team to quickly be able to quote a project, right? And so my cost will always be the same. Oh, sorry, I can't see my finger. My cost is always the same over here because I know what my cost pretty much is. So my sales team won't get bit by quoting a project without getting approval from me. Hey, Zach, I need approval on this quote. Well, no, you don't, because you have your price sheet. You should know what our stuff costs, right? And we've gone over enough times to know. So if the customer wants to reduce to 40 panos, okay, but my cost per pano has to go up because my net revenue went down to a negative 820, right? So my cost per pano cannot be 130 at 40 panos. Just can't be that. You got me? So my sales team is not going to get bit here. So it would be 160 probably. Let's see. That's even break even right there. That's terrible. So you can't quote $6,400 when it costs you $6,400 to do the project. You just can't do that. So just keep that in mind. And so a big driver of cost per pano is this kind of calculation, which you can't do unless you know the project details, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm just kind of just sharing how we do it and how we think, how I think too as a pricing person. And y'all have any questions about this?
Yeah, when I saw that, I think it was last week when I saw your this spreadsheet. We already had one built, something similar to that. I did steal portions of it to go onto mine, but I like this, and yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And that's what I do with my sales gal, but I'm handling this one myself, seeing that I own the company.
Sure, of
It is
course.
going to be a large project for us. And
Yeah.
then, you know, they're going to have, you know, like I said, 5 or 6 times during the year, it's all going to be changed. So, you know,
You need to know the price. Yeah.
except for maybe some of the big aerials that are around, I won't have to change that.
And you may be able to quote that whatever your price is annually, right? So you'll be able to say, hey, it's 20K a year. And that's
Yeah.
also really normal. That's a normal price. You're hosting it for them while I'm hosting it for you. But, you know, I understand what I know, you know, that's reasonable. It's very reasonable.
Yeah, yeah. My biggest thing is going to be the changes during the year. So
yeah,
I think that's gonna be where I get hit. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Sure. Hey guys, I'm sorry I do have to go. Any questions before we roll out, or y'all good? Can I get a see you later? Sorry to be abrupt, but I hit my time here.
Oh, no problem.
All right, guys. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you.
You too.
All right, see you.